Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Are we ready for the final part of our story? Let's get into it. That night, the sky above the village of Oduka turned dark and restless. Thick clouds gathered like giant shadows, swallowing the stars. Thunder rolled across the hills, shaking the ground beneath the villagers' feet. Soon, the rain began to fall. At first, it was gentle, but within minutes, it became heavy and furious. Water poured down from the sky like a broken pot. Mama Nkem stood at the doorway of her small clay hut, watching the storm with fear in her eyes. She could hear the river roaring in the distance. The river's warning had begun. As the night grew deeper, the rain continued without mercy. The river swelled larger and larger, pushing against its banks. The once peaceful water now moved widely, carrying branches, leaves, and pieces of broken wood. Some villagers woke from their sleep as the sound of rushing water grew louder. A few remembered Mama's Nkem warning earlier that day. Fear slowly crept into their hearts. Mama Nkem could not remain inside her house. She grabbed her old wrapper and rushed into the rain. Her feet splashed through muddy paths as she moved house to house. "Wake up!" she shouted. "The river is rising. Move to higher ground." Some villagers finally listened. Others were still unsure. But the sound of the rolling water was growing closer and closer. Just before dawn, the river burst into banks. Water rushed into the lower parts of the village like a wild animal escaping its cage. Farms disappeared under muddy water. Goats ran wildly through the streets. Villagers shouted and hurried to gather their families. Those who had believed Mama Nkem were already moving towards the hill behind the village. Others quickly followed in panic. By morning, many villagers had gathered on the high hill near Oduka. From there, they watched helplessly as the flood waters moved through parts of their village. Some houses were surrounded by water. Farms were covered in mud, but most of the people were safe, and many of them knew why. Mama Nkem had warned them. As the rain slowly began to stop, the villagers turned towards the widow. Their faces were filled with shame and gratitude. One of the elders stepped forward. "Mama Nkem," he said softly, "we laughed at your warning." Another villager lowered his head. "But you saved many lives tonight." Mama Nkem shook her head gently. "It was not me alone," she said. "The river warned us." The villagers looked at each other with confusion, but none of them laughed this time. After the flood waters slowly began to retreat, the village started rebuilding. Farmers repaired their fields. Families cleaned their homes. But something had changed in Oduka. Whenever Mama Nkem walked through the village, people greeted her with deep respect. Children waved at her. Women invited her to share meals. The widow, who once lived quietly in the shadows, had become someone the village trusted. One evening, Mama Nkem returned to the river bank. The water was calm again, shining softly in the golden sunset. "River," she said gently, "the village is safe because of you." The river voice returned, soft and peaceful. "They are safe because of you." Mama Nkem smiled sadly. "I only listened, and that is the greatest gift," the river replied. Mama Nkem sat on her stone for a long time. The cool evening wind moved gently through the tall grasses. "Tell me something," she asked quietly. "Did the river truly take my husband?" The water flowed silently for a moment. Then the voice answered gently, "No, the storm did." Mama Nkem closed her eyes. For many years, she had blamed the river, but now she understood. The river had not been her enemy, it had been her quiet companion. Years passed peacefully in Oduka. Mama Nkem continued visiting the river every evening. Sometimes they spoke, sometimes they simply shared the quiet sound of flowing water. Villagers often saw the old widow sitting beside the river at sunset, and they would whisper kindly to one another, "That's Mama Nkem, the woman who listens to the river." But only Mama Nkem knew the deeper truth. The river had listened to her first, and in the end, the lonely widow and the ancient river had become something rare in this world. Thank you all that has followed and subscribed to our channel and is watching our videos. Thank you. I've come to the end of this story. Stay tuned for more stories, more interesting folktale stories on this channel. Thank you.